We're gonna work now with another example, another practice in the software, but now we have information which we can use to make our model. We're gonna start by opening the software, FlexSim. Well, we are in the main interface of the software. As you remember, we click on new model, the time units and all the default units, we're gonna leave it that way. We're gonna click only in OK. Alright, let's check the information we have. First of all, the model to represent follows this sequence. The sequence starts with the arrival in the raw material warehouse each 6 minutes. So we go back to the software, and remember, always to start generating the arrivals into the system, we need the source. We put here the source. We're going to change the name to arrivals. Okay, we have the arrivals, and we need the warehouse which will receive the raw material. We need the queue. This is going to be the raw material warehouse. We change the name here too. Now, let me tell you guys that we're gonna do this step by step. The first thing is to introduce the resources or the icons into the software in the screen, and after that we're gonna make the connections that we need for the relationships between all the workstations and the operators, or the transports for the final product or the working process or the raw material. So we're gonna check here, arrival in the raw material warehouse each 6 minutes. We're gonna leave it for later. We need 2 simultaneous cleaning stations. We need 1 welding station, a cutting station, a bending station, and 2 stations of assembly, number 1 and number 2. Okay, we have here also a layout so we can know how to set all the resources on the software. Here we need to leave it in this way. Here we have the source, and here we have the queue, the raw material warehouse. We need now 2 stations of cleaning. These 2 stations, we need to introduce it into the software. Don't worry if you see it in different colors. The resource is the same that we have seen before, the processor. So we go back to the software. We introduce these 2 processors. Processor 1, processor 2. Okay. Processor 1 is going to be cleaning cleaning 1, and this is going to be cleaning 2. Okay, and now we need to change the color to differentiate all these stations. In this case, the cleaning stations have the blue color. We can change it going to the right side. On this part, you can see the green color. We click to display the drop down menu and we choose the blue color. For this one too. Alright. We're not gonna change any setting of the resources, we're only introducing what we need. We continue. We need now a welding station. Welding station. Here it is. After the two cleaning stations, a welding area is necessary in our model. Let's introduce another processor. Let's change the color to red and the name to welding. What do we need now? We need a cutting station and a bending station. Let's check the layout to know where to set these resources, where to put it. Cutting and bending. Here down with the original color that is green. Okay. This one is going to be cutting. And this other is going to be bending. Okay, let's check the information. We need two assembly stations. It's the same like the processor. Processor here and processor in this port. This processor, as you can see in the layout, you can see it in vertical position. We're gonna change it in our model. By the way, you can move the screen of the model by clicking and keep it pressed the mouse. You can drag the screen, and if you release it, you can move in a free way the cursor. Let's continue. I need to change the position of this machine, of this processor. We go to this part here. We're gonna move it in this axis. We need a movement of 90 grades. We click on start. We push start. We do the same thing here. Enter. Now we need to change the color to yellow. Here is the same. The one below is the assembly number 1. And the other is assembly number 2. Okay. What's missing? Let's check the layout. We need a rack for the final product. We're gonna introduce it. Here on the left is the option for the rack. We click and drag it here. We position the rack in our model. By now we have all the resources that we need to make our model a working representation of the system. Now Let's continue with the operators and transports necessary for this model to work. Let's check the information. Here, an operator, the number 1, takes the raw material from the warehouse to the cleaning stations, to the first one available. In other words, I need an operator. Here I can take it from the left, and I will put it in this place because this operator is gonna take the raw material and is gonna pass it or take it to the cleaning station, to any of these 2 stations that we have here. Okay, we're gonna make the connection. You're gonna press the key. Well, we're gonna leave it to the end better. We're gonna leave it to the end to make it in an order and not make it more complex. It's not complex, but we're gonna try it in the easier way. First of all, we're gonna set all the operators and transports necessary in this model. Let's check. An operator number 2 takes the work in process from the cleaning station to the welding station. In simple words, I need an operator in this part who will take from cleaning number 1, cleaning number 2, the work in process, and he will take it to welding station. Welding only, not welding 1. Okay, let's continue with information. A transporter lift truck takes the whip, the work in process, from the welding station and take it to the cutting station. We need to transport a lift truck because of the nature of the working process and because of the distance. We're gonna select this transporter. We're gonna put it in this place. Let's check what else do we need here. We need an operator, the 3rd operator, that takes the whip, the working process, from the cutting station to the bending station. Another operator here that will pass the whip from here to this station. We need now a transporter that takes the whip from the bending station to the assembly number 1. We need a transporter that will take the working process from this station to the assembly number 1. Let's check the information. An operator, the number 4, that will take the working process from the assembly number 1 to another assembly station, the number 2. I will put it in this place, and we're almost done. We only need a transporter to take the final product from the assembly number 2 to the rack of the final product. Okay, we're gonna add it, transporter, in this place. Okay, we have now all the resources and elements to make our model work. Now we need to tell to the software all the relationships to know the sequence of the item. We're gonna start by the source. Remember to connect objects or resources, that in this case are these icons and the stations, the different stations. We're gonna use the key A. We're gonna press on our keyboard the key A. We're gonna click on arrivals. We're gonna click in raw material warehouse. We're gonna click in cleaning number 1. We need to make also a connection from here to here by pressing the same key A. we're gonna continue from here to here. From cleaning number 2 also goes to the welding station. From the welding station we continue to the cutting station here. From the cutting we continue to the bending. From the bending station we continue to assembly number 1. From assembly number 1 we continue to assembly number 2. From assembly number 2 we take the final product to the rack. Okay, that is the sequence of the item. In this case, the item in the shape of a box, it's going to be the raw material, the working process, and finally the finished good or the final product. Now we need to tell the software the relationship between the operators and the stations, the different stations. We're gonna start with the operator number 1, who is responsible for taking the raw material and taking to these different stations, cleaning number 1 and cleaning number 2. We're gonna press on our keyboard the key S. We're gonna click on the operator and we're gonna click on this station, release the key S, we press it again, select the operator, and we're gonna click on the other station of cleaning, the number 2. Okay, we need to make also a connection from the raw material warehouse to the operator. With the key S on our keyboard, because this operator will take the box of raw material and take it to these both stations. We're gonna do the same with this operator, the number 2. He is responsible of taking the working process from both stations of cleaning and he will take it to the welding station. So we press S key on our keyboard. We're gonna select this operator. We're gonna connect them to these stations of cleaning. And also to the welding station. Okay. Now, the responsible from taking the working process from the welding station to the cutting is this transporter, the number 1. We're gonna repeat the same process to connect and make the relationship of the transporter to these both stations, the welding and cutting. We press S, click on welding, the transporter, and the cutting station. We have highlighted the relationship of the transporter between these two areas or stations. We continue. This operator will take it from cutting to bending. We press S on our keyboard, click on the operator, click on the stations. He has a relationship with cutting and bending. Okay. Now we need to make the connections of the transporter number 2, which will take the working process from this station of bending to assembly number 1. We press S on our keyboard, click on bending, click on transporter number 2, and click on assembly number 1. Alright, let's continue with this other operator, the number 4. We're gonna press S on our keyboard, select this operator, select these both stations, okay, and final transport is this lift truck, the transporter number 3. We're gonna press S, the transporter, and the assembly number 2, and once again the transporter, and the final product rack. Okay, we're gonna check our information in these slides, and we have made all the relationships of the different stations and operators and transporter. Now we need to check the settings of the different zones or areas, in this case the different stations. First of all, the arrival in the raw material warehouse each 6 minutes. Remember, that value we don't change it in this resource. We can make the modification in the source, which is responsible for generating all the incomes or inputs into the system. We go here and we're gonna change this value of 10 to 6. Alright, we go now to the slides to check all the rest of the information. The cleaning station. Okay, first of all, here we have a bracket with 2 values inside. These 2 values corresponds to these 2 parameters, and the first one is the maximum content of the resource, which is the first value, and the second is the process time, the time that the resource is working. Now let's complete the information on our model. The maximum content on the cleaning station is of 1, and the time process is of 5 minutes. Maximum content, it's 1 already here, it's okay. The process is going to be, let me check, 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I change it in this place too, in the cleaning number 2. The maximum content is 1, it's okay. We change this value to 5. Alright, let's continue to the welding station. The welding station works with a maximum content of 3 elements or products, work in process in this case, because it's not already finished. 3, and the process time is 8. 3 here and 8 in this part. Let's go to the cutting. The cutting is 2 sets, 2 maximum content. The process time is of 6 minutes. The bending 2-8, bending 2-8. The assembly number 1 210. Okay, 10, it's okay here. And the final resource, the final station 212. Alright, we have made the necessary changes in the settings of the resources. Now we need to tell to each resource who will take the outcome of the resource to make the right sequence of the flow item. In this case, the raw material is taken by the operator number 1. We're gonna click here on the right side, use transport. The transport for this case is the operator number 1 who will take the raw material. Okay, there's no need to be more specific by clicking on operator number 1 because it's the only operator who has a contact with this resource, so it's not necessary to go further here on the options. We continue. Here we're gonna click on use transport, and in this part we're gonna be more specific. We're gonna click here in this drop down menu. We're gonna go to object connected to a sender port, and we're gonna click on operator number 2 because this operator, the number 2, is responsible for taking the working process from this station. We're gonna do the same with the other cleaning station. Use transport, object connected to a sender port, and we select the operator number 2. Alright, continue to the welding zone. Use transport. In this case, the transport for this station is the transporter or the lift truck number 1. We're gonna click here, object connected to a sender port. We're gonna change this value. We're gonna select the transporter number 1. We're gonna click on transporter number 1. And now we continue to the cutting. We're gonna select use transport, display the drop down menu, object connected to a sender port. We're gonna click on operator number 3 because the operator, this guy is going to be the responsible for taking the working process from this place to this other station. We go to bending, use transport, display the drop down menu. We're gonna select for the bending, the responsible is going to be transporter number 2. Let's continue with the assembly. Use transport. We're gonna go to this option. We're gonna select the operator number 4. And the final resource, the same. Use transport, object connected to a sender port, transporter number 3. Okay, by now we're supposed to have all the information that we have on this slide in the model we're working with. We're gonna check it if it works correctly. Stop, reset, and run. Operator number 1 starts working, starts moving the bots. Operator number 2 starts doing the same thing, the transporter. The operator number 3, transporter number 2, all the rest of the guys are also working. Transporter number 3 is putting the final product into the rack, so we can say it's working. I'm gonna hide the connections to see it in a clearer way. Alright, as we can see, the time process of all the different stations are not enough for the time of the arrivals in the warehouse. All the boxes are stacking up, and we can see the capability of the process is not enough. But okay, that's other part of the process. We're now only putting in practice the logic to make a representation, a model. I'm gonna stop it. I'm gonna reset it. We're gonna finish it this this model by implementing the ground and the walls to make it visually more complete. Okay, we're gonna select this option here, the plane option. We're gonna put it here. Escape. You can see the different color arrows. If I click on this part and move it down, you can see how it spans the surface like this. And if I click on this red arrow, I will expand it in this direction. Okay. This is only for visual purpose, because this has no impact on the efficiency or function of the model. But when working this in an enterprise, if you try to impress your boss, a more complete representation, it's better to convince your colleagues, your boss, of the project you're trying to improve. Okay, let's continue now with the walls. Let me check where is it. Select sheet. Okay, it's not here. It's here. The basic F. Click on it and click here. You can see only a cube. We're gonna get closer. We press escape on our keyboard. Click on the cube, and you can see the same color arrows. We're gonna hold it like we did with the surface. We zoom out. We zoom in and zoom out with the scroll of the mouse. Like this. If you scroll up, you will zoom in. If you scroll down, you will zoom out. I know you're thinking, oh, what a good time to tell us this. This is the good example. This is the second example. Sorry guys, I had forgotten this, but I know you are smart enough to realize with practice how to zoom in and zoom out. We're gonna do this, pull the cube, or like this, and we're gonna pull it up by clicking on the blue arrow like this. We're gonna add another cube here. What happened? It doesn't insert. Here it is. Escape. Click on the cube. We're gonna do the same like the other. I'm gonna put it here. I didn't click on the green arrow. I need to be very careful by pulling the green arrow. And the blue arrow to make the complete wall. We'll do the same with the other wall. I didn't click on the green arrow. Okay. gonna put it here. And from this blue arrow we will complete the wall. Okay, the model is complete now. We're gonna see it work again. Stop, reset, and run. I want to see the names and statistics of all the resources. Here we can see how productive or idle is each resource. And that's it for this example, guys.